The historically Christian West is trapped in an atheistic, materialistic anti-humanism, because life within the artifice of highly civilized society and the technology that makes it possible has trained us, overtly and otherwise, that the world is material stuff, moving determinedly like the gears of a clock. Anything non-material that you seem to experience, including the very fact of experience itself, consciousness, is merely some unexpected side effect or emergent property of the clockwork, according to the materialist frame. This worldview is so trained into us that even when we think we believe in something else, for example, free will, or dreams, or God, we continue to doubt it at a very deep level. At best, we might suspend our need for certainty around a particular experience or domain. But that's not the same thing as deeply embodying a worldview in which, for example, consciousness is a fundamental property, even more fundamental than physics equations or electron orbitals or dark matter.
Yeah, we get it. Materialism is a dead end. What does that have to do with Christianity?
Christianity is over-encumbered by the proliferation of systematic theology. Our materialism, our systematic left-brain thinking is a challenge to Christianity because it makes it very difficult to actually believe in a lowercase God at all. Even though we might want to believe, or act like we believe, or pretend to believe, without some sort of experiential knowing, there is not deep belief, only the fanciful desire to believe. Christians are separated from God in a historically unique way, and the consequence is partially a rejection of Christ, as in the case of Christian-descended non-believers or atheists, or, as in the subject of this video, idolatry. Idolaters, who think that they worship the God-man Christ, but who actually worship Christianity, the tradition, the institution, the rituals, the creeds, the documents, the churches, the people, the theology. You are about to hear the clearest explanation of this problem from David Gornosky. If you don't mind, David, to what extent has the various Christian churches of today fallen into a state of idolatry?
To the extent that they maintain an ideological approach to a relationship with Christ. When you make Christ the object of your life rather than the subject, that changes your orientation to how you're going to deal with him. If he is an object that you can mentally attain through propositional assent of correct ideological beliefs about Christ, then you can hold that as an object in rivalry with other factions that claim to have the object that you say you did. That creates mimetic rivalry, which creates schism.
When you are disconnected from the God you seek to worship, the disconnection creates insecurity. Insecurity then leads you to obsessively justify your belief system and compare it with others, with the emphasis often being on devaluing other traditions. The ugly cloud of idolatry that hangs over Nicene Christianity makes it so that we see the devil everywhere we look. Other spiritual traditions, most especially other versions of Christianity, must be denounced as deceptions or heresies. Harry Potter is demonic. The Antichrist is around every corner. And if a celebrity puts on devil horns, well, there's your smoking gun. But why? Because we are stuck in a model of the universe in which materiality is reality, and consciousness is just some inexplicable accident. In other words, God is dead, and we killed him. Despite its protests, Christianity has a lot in common with other spiritual traditions. not just in terms of the historical developments and evolutions of humanity's relationship with God, but also by fact of that emphasis on orientation and subjective relationship with reality. You see, reality is hierarchical, whether we want it to be or not. My liver does liver things and my heart does heart things, both in a kind of self-interested service to the greater whole. Same for ecosystems and societies and quanta. It is quintessentially idolatrous and all too human that many of us encounter hierarchy and become obsessed with either climbing it or destroying it. Both futile rebellions against God, in denial of the specter of death. There is some good news, though. Reality is not just a single zero-sum hierarchy. No, hierarchies are nested deeper and wider than you realize. God is all throughout you, is one way of thinking about it. Instead of trying to control the hierarchies, you can submit yourself before them and become godlike in a different sort of way. There is an old branch of Christianity called Gnosticism. Idolatrous Christians despise Gnosticism for the same reason that they despise everyone. You see, by denouncing the Gnostic cosmology, they defend their own idol or object version of Christianity, the object approved by people with really big hats, against the perceived threat of another object. In this case, the other object, the boogeyman, Gnosticism, claims that Yahweh, the name of the Old Testament God, is not truly God, but another figure they call Yaldabaoth, or the Demiurge, a Lucifer kind of figure that creates a fake, fallen world for us as a prison where our only hope is escape via gnosis or spiritual understanding. The threat that Gnosticism poses to idol Christianity is that it uses different names and myths to point toward the same Christian truth. The Gnostic cosmology of the Demiurge is actually a brilliant mythical reframing of the fall of man, as in the Garden of Eden. Here's how it goes. When you have an idol, such as a belief system, atop your hierarchy of orientation, then you experience the world as a prison. Idol Christianity is in tacit agreement that the Old Testament understanding of God, Yahweh, was insufficient for salvation and had to be fulfilled by the radical love and sacrifice of Christ. They just tell the story in different ways. Yahweh, or the Demiurge, or Lucifer, or Prometheus, is what you experience when you put your faith in ideas about reality rather than in reality itself. Capital G, God. By the way, idols are not evil. They are technologies that reveal themselves to us through the state of mind that the Greeks called techne, humanity's most profound gift of insight in technologies that allow us to live more deeply and lovingly. But this gift is also our great weakness, and why we were warned against eating the fruit. Because if you get too deeply into the weeds of techne, whether it is philosophy, or science, or theology, you become trapped in it. The fallen world, the simulation, the matrix, and you forget the simplest truth of all. This, here, now, your true nature, Christ, God. When idle Christians see the devil all around them, in Harry Potter and meditation and anti-counter dispensationalism, or they even see the devil in their own children, this is because they themselves, your average Christian, has been trapped in a matrix of their own idolatry, because they think and they've been told this by many spiritual authority figures, that true Christianity is all about having the correct beliefs and doing the correct rituals. But systems of belief are nothing but idols, and idols are not God. In the same way that we know that the map, however useful, is not the territory. Idols, maps, and beliefs are frameworks of understanding. They are technologies, as in Prometheus or Lucifer. And they are not the boogeyman. They have their place. But if you keep your theology book on the God shelf, then you are always a prisoner.